Hello, hello, hello. You're getting two reviews for the price of one. I might burble on for a bit. Somebody asked, when I asked recently for review examples, and somebody said, do Beatles solo. This kind of falls under. This is a little bit of synchronicity, kind of falls under that, because last last week they released I think it's the 50th anniversary. They're a bit late. 50th anniversary release of Band on the Run. I think it was last week. Anyway, I should have done my research. It doesn't matter. But they released an underdubbed version of it. Here, he says. Here, this one. Here. But I'm also talking about this one here. So I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to do both. So forgive me if I ramble on a bit, because yeah, there's a lot to talk about. First of all, it's Paul McCartney and Wings. I'm going to do the joke. Wings, the band the Beatles could have been. I've done it again. I like that joke, and if you're of a certain vintage like I am, songs like, well, the singles from this album, Band on the Run and Jet, were kind of ubiquitous. They were very much played on the radio. So, like I said, this is from 1973. The album itself, though the singles were released the following year, because this was released late November 73. Meaning there is a difference between the UK version and the American version. American version got an extra track, Helen Wheels, which is featured on like the newer editions, which I always found a bit confusing. It's like, what? I don't remember that being there. Oh, that thing when they add something. Like with Roxy Music, there was a period when they added Virginia Plain to the first Roxy Music album as the last track on side one, and that always used to confuse me. Or was it the first track on side two? I can't remember. But yeah, when songs weren't there are now there, and then they take, well, in the case of Roxy Music, they took it off again. But that was a thing. I'm sure that was a thing. I'm burbling. Focus. Band on the Run. Like I said, released in 1973. It's Paul McCartney and that there Wings. Third studio album from the band. I think it's the fifth studio album from McCartney as an individual after leaving the Beatles. Of course, the cover's iconic, featuring all those celebrities. I think it's only John Conte's left alive, isn't it? You've got Michael Parkinson, Kenny Lynch, James Coburn, Clement Freud, Christopher Lee, John Conte. John Conte's a British boxer. Kenny Lynch, singer. I think my nan and granddad met him once. So yeah, it's a bit of an iconic cover you got there, and it's them in a silhouette escaping from a prison, and with the old spotlight on them. Opening track, Band on the Run, is very much about escape, and the escape again. Is it escaping the Beatles? Is it the Beatles escaping the grip of Alan Klein? There's much analysis about these songs. Again, the making of it alone you could write an essay on, because of the band going to Lagos, and in a much depleted form. They weren't the full version of the band, and Fela Kuti turning up and harassing them, being robbed, master tapes being stolen or demo tapes being stolen, and things having to be re-recorded from memory. And I think that kind of hangs over that oppressive atmosphere and sense of relief hangs over the record. But the opening track, Band on the Run, is again McCartney doing what he does of pushing three or four ideas together. He is a genius. He's a musical genius. I've said it. Of all the Beatles, he was the genius. And if you listen to this, or Live and Let Die, there's another one of his tracks. Oh God, from is it from Ram, where he just glues 3 or 4 ideas together, ideas that on their own were diamonds, and he just throws them away. He just throws them away, and just he can just do that. And it amazes me how he does that. How he has a sense of melody and he can pull all this stuff together. But yeah, Band on the Run is just again a classic track, and then it's followed up by Jet, which there are many versions. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, it's quite apparent what it's about. It's about, someone getting married, or at least proposing, or getting the approval of the sergeant major. Though he said it's about his dog or about his horse. There've been many different versions, but then I think it is about him, marrying Linda. And that again is another song that, my God, if you were listening to the radio in those days, if you were a kid, these songs again, they make up your musical DNA, don't they? So I've got great fondness for them. Bluebird, again, this isn't the first time that he's invoked birds in his music. It's a rather tender song that, again, I don't think any of the other Beatles could pull off. Mrs. Vanderbilt, I love that one. It's a good bit of percussion on there. Let Me Roll It is the one. I've never been a big fan of that one. Mamounia, on the new mix, I just thought it was much more open. I mean, there's not much difference between the mixes. Again, I'm going to move on to that later on. But I really enjoyed it. I was listening to this on the dog walk, this album, and Mamounia, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Followed by No Words. It's all right. Picasso's Last Words. Isn't that the song that he was challenged to write a song? Because again, McCartney says writing songs easy. Anyone can write songs because he's a genius. And I think it's Dustin Hoffman challenges McCartney to write a song, and so we get Picasso's Last Words, open parentheses, drink to me, close parentheses, and then we end the album with 1985, which again, I quite like the groove of it. I quite like the instrument. Again, the lyrics kind of throwaway, and I think the newer version is more enjoyable. So it is a classic album. Band on the Run is a classic album, and it's certainly got an interesting story behind it. And if you want to bring in Helen Wills as well, which is a funky, I like that one. I like that one as well. The fact that it was omitted from the UK version, but in the American one, you wonder why. Because it fits nicely. It fits in with the. There's a certain, what do you call it? Clunkiness? Not clunkiness. No. Jokiness. There's a thing that McCartney does, because he doesn't get too precious about songs. And again, that's another reason to love him. Is he can write silly songs, maybe silly love songs. And that wasn't that a response to Lennon as well? He writes a great love song. It's just, this is it. You can't go up against him because he'll just write a great song about it. But yeah, you do wonder why Helen Wills wasn't on it, and then maybe it was logistical reasons. There's probably a documented reason why it wasn't on there. But when you hear it included in like the new editions, you think, oh, why was it missing from the first time round? Then we've got CDs. Anyway, I'm burbling again. So anyway, it's a classic album. You know that. You know it's a classic album. But we've got this new version. We've got this one, the underdubbed edition, and all that is it's to represent the 50th anniversary. Crikey, it's as old as what I am. The underdubbed edition, they reorganise the album, so it starts with Band on the Run, leads into Mamounia, No Words, Jet, and I like the fact that there is a distance between Band on the Run and Jet, because you get two strong hitters in the original one, But I like the way it goes from Band on Run into Mamunia. I like the track listing a lot better. I think it flows. It just flows a bit better. But again, I think the artwork with the art to get a good album is to make sure it kind of I believe it should undulate like that, like a snake. And I think this new edition, it works very well. But yeah, I'm getting off the topic again. The underdubbed version, it's basically without the strings, the orchestral mix that Tony Visconti helped pull together with like the final mix. Because what you've got here is the prepared mixes that the orchestral bits were added onto. I mean, it's not too radically different, but you get a different. It feels a little more homespun. It feels a little more kind of round the campfire. And that's odd because you wouldn't believe that there would be such a difference. It feels more homely album. And also you get to hear things a bit more because you ain't got the strings in the way. You haven't got the orchestrations in the way. So again, it brings a unique aspect to it. Yeah, it works really well. And with the 1985 track, they removed the vocals and so it's totally instrumental. And I like that version better. I like that one. And they end the album with "Let Me Roll It," which again is I'm not a particularly big fan when they do these kind of these out and out rock ones. Kind of, it's like always feels a bit hokey. That was the word I was thinking of, hokey, hokey cokey. So yeah, it was great to revisit Band on the Run. Even if you're looking at it through a different prism of reality. And it's again for somebody who likes listening. I like listening to alternate mixes. It's good for that. You get to hear, you're more inside the songs. You get to hear more of the playing because you haven't got that layer on top of it. You've pulled it apart somewhat. So that's good. I think it's again to do something for a 50th anniversary. I think they've done something unique. They haven't just put out another version or a Stephen Wilson remix. This was a remix done at the time by I think it's prepared by Jeff Emerick. Again, Jeff Emerick, big history with the Beatles and got a host of other musical phenomena. So it's those mixes. So it's something that the band would approve. You haven't got somebody else's fingerprints all over it. So that makes it an interesting memento of the anniversary. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was good to hear, and they're great songs. It's a great album. It's great songs, and you get to hear the album differently. It gives it a little bit more life. Though I imagine it'll only be old farts like me who are listening to it. I doubt many young people will be putting this on their Spotify list. Again, you can stream this. This is streamable at the moment. That's how I listen to it. But I think it's available as a vinyl, whatnot. If it is, I'll go to Amazon and put an affiliate link so I can earn a magic shiny penny for anyone who's interested in buying the actual album rather than streaming it, because I know there is some of you out there. And that's it. That's the review. You got 2 reviews for the price of 1. Sorry I rambled, but I don't write any of this down because I'm lazy and I'd rather just sit here and talk aimlessly at you because this is what you want. You just don't realise it yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. I was talking about not only Band on the Run from the Wings from the 1973, but also Band on the Run, the underdubbed edition that was out this very year, 2024, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the album. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say, but now you know what that is, and that is ta-ta.